This is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. I hope you enjoyed this Critical Thought, your daily discussion on game design. Hello and welcome to today's Critical Thought. Before we begin, thank you to a staggering 784 subscribers here on the YouTube channel. I hope you're enjoying the content, and if you're discovering things for the first time, be sure to subscribe. If things keep going at this rate, we may actually break a record of 100 subscribers in 2 weeks, which for this channel is very impressive. And if you enjoy the content here, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign in order to help support Game Wisdom and allow things to grow. It is Sunday right now, which is supposed to be a lazy Sunday, but it has been a very busy one for me. I had 2 conferences, phone and on Skype, and for today's Critical Thought, we're going to talk about some of my favorite action games. These are the top 3 that I basically judge any new action game by. They are over there, and I'll be bringing them into the picture as we talk about them. For added effect, if you'd like to do a drum roll, now would be the time. Now, I've talked about these 3 in the past, and for those of you who are longtime fans of Game Wisdom, you probably know what they are. But for those of you just tuning in, we'll see if you can guess them as I announce them. Let's start with number 3, God Hand. God Hand is also the infamous game that got like a 2 or a 3 from IGN, and they were saying it was like a horrible game, they hate it, game do not buy and all that. And this was also a time where a lot of people basically stopped caring about what IGN thought. God Hand is a very challenging action game built around dodging instead of blocking. What makes it such a fascinating game is the fact that you literally build your own combos. You put different moves and you assign them to the different buttons and commands, and then those are your actions that you'll do during fighting. So you could be built around faster moves and you can get a lot of them in, or very heavy moves that are slow but you'll do a lot of damage. And then moves had different modifiers. You had some that could break guard, some that would allow you to evade attacks. And the game was definitely high in terms of challenge and mastery for the action genre. Now, what made the game a little bit frustrating to play, the camera definitely made it difficult to fight. You were always locked into a third-person view and you could only see things directly in front of you. But obviously you're going to be attacked from all 4 sides. And the game featured a difficulty system that the better you played, the harder the game would become. And when you get good enough to get to the final level, I think level die, they not only attack in more numbers, but there's more enemies and newer guys, to fight, adding into the difficulty. What I loved about God Hand, again, was the focus on skill and the fact that it was one of the few action games that allow you to build your own combo lines. And one of my first action game ideas I wrote a design document for was a game that was along that line of being able to basically just customize all aspects of your fighting. The reason why it's not higher up on the list is that it does feel kind of repetitive, and the complexity is more about dealing with these enemies rather than growing as a player or really mastering the mechanics. But there is depth there. It also features one of the most badass end themes out of any game, and be sure to check that out. It's probably somewhere on YouTube. But let's talk about number 2, and that is Devil May Cry 3. This is the special edition of the game. And this is possibly one of the most, hopefully you can stand, this is one of the most technical focused action games I've ever played. The game, of course, follows sort of the origin of Dante, meeting his brother Virgil for the first time. If you watch my piece on favorite boss fights, then you know that the Virgil fight ranks as one of my all-time greats. The technical-based gameplay comes in with how every weapon in the game has its own unique move line. From Dante's swords, the ice nunchucks you get, a literal electric guitar / scythe. And what they did was they really allow you to explore the combos and playing the game. You can switch between any two weapons through just a simple button press, and you can do this through mid-combo. So the idea is you could knock an enemy up with your sword, jump up, hit him a few times, slam him down, come down with a different weapon, perform a downward strike, do a combo there, switch back to your sword, knock him up again, switch to your guns, and this is all one giant customized combo that happens in the span of maybe 3 seconds. The game also introduced the concept of styles, which would modify Dante's ability with a special style button. So you had the Trickster style that gave you more dodge opportunities. The Swordsman, it may be a different name, adds a different or a additional attack with each melee weapon, so it even allows you to extend your combos further. And the game was hard. The rumor, what was told, was that our hard was considered Japan's normal, or something along those lines. And for the special edition, they added in all the higher difficulty levels. They allowed you to play as Virgil with his completely different combo lines and skills, and just an amazing action game. And again, for the genre, one of the most technical ones. It's one of the reasons why I didn't love Bayonetta as much. Bayonetta went for a standardized combo chain that worked for all weapons. And I think I made the weapons feel less unique compared to Devil May Cry 3. And again, having each weapon require its own mastery, it almost felt like a fighting game in a sense compared to other action games, just due to the technical skill required. Now, my number one game, you should probably know what this is because I think I talked about it very recently. And that is Ninja Gaiden Black. Ninja Gaiden, the remake by Team Ninja for the Xbox, was a fascinating action game, and I'm fairly certain this box is not going to stand up. The game may hold up. Okay, there we go. And Ninja Gaiden was just a mind-blowing game when it was released for the Xbox, the original. Super challenging, and just requiring a lot of skill and finesse to play. The game focused more on movement and agility rather than hard-hitting attacks. You had to always keep on your feet as Ryu, as the enemies were always going to attack you. This was a game where basically getting caught in a combo was a death sentence. Had challenging boss fights, and it was just an amazing game. So what the developers did was with Ninja Gaiden Black is they actually made it harder. They removed the ability to counterattack, which is like, we rarely see games where developers make it harder by removing your skills. They added in a bunch of new enemies. They added in an unprecedented multiple difficulty settings, new bosses, leaderboards, and just made the game a whole lot more challenging. And why I love it so much is what they did with the difficulty settings. If you watch the previous Critical Thought on difficulty, I talked about how Ninja Gaiden Black basically redid the game for each difficulty. Enemies were moved around, items were changed, more bosses were added, and it just made the game feel a whole lot bigger thanks to these different fights. At my height of play, I was able to get a quarter of the way through Master Ninja, which was the game's ultimate difficulty. It was so difficult that I think they said that no one at Team Ninja was able to beat it. I'm sure a few people have beat it since the game was released, but back then that was just a massive challenge. And the game made no attempt at easing you in when you play on the higher difficulty levels. There's the infamous nasty ghost piranha guys who basically just swarm you and pick apart your health. There is a boss fight that pretty much demanded that you mastered the timing of dodging, or you literally would not be able to beat this fight. And again, this was a game that the core mechanics didn't really change as you went up in difficulty, but they just asked more and more of you. And this was a game where even playing on normal difficulty could still kick your ass if you were a novice player or someone not used to the game. It was also one of the few games to practically insult the player by having the Ninja Dog difficulty level that made the game easier, but you had to basically say that you were a weakling and you weren't good enough at the game. But definitely an amazing game. One that if you can beat that, it really puts into light all the other action games that have come out. And with these 3 games, like I said, these are the 3 that I basically judge, let's see if we can get this all nice and framed, all action games by. Like I said, I tried Bayonetta, and while I liked it, I didn't love it. I think the box just cut me. That's how tough these games are, folks. But I'm sure you guys watching have your own favorite action games. An honorable mention that isn't called out enough, what I want to give credit to right now, is Kia Dark Lineage for the PlayStation 2. Imagine if someone combined Mario with Zelda with an action, with like one of these action games. And that's sort of what they were going for. Very amazing game, and one if you haven't played and have a PlayStation 2, you should really check out. But we're going to wrap up this critical thought, I guess a little bit early. My voice is basically dying after all the talking I've been doing lately. So, once again, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or would like to talk about some of your favorite action games, be sure to leave them below. Thank you once again to 784 subscribers here. And like I said, when we hit 800, I'll give another vote for, what's the next Let's Play you'd like to see. Even though things are going quicker than expected, I've already came up with some concepts. Be sure to check out the Patreon campaign if you would like to support things further. And other than that, once again, I am Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Thanks for watching today's Critical Thought. I'll see you all tomorrow with more great content here and on GameWisdom.com. Take care. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, share with your friends. It always helps out. For daily posts on all manner of game design and industry topics, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the site and everything that I do, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign. If we can hit goals, it will mean more content for everyone to enjoy, and I'll be able to support myself and my household. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at GWBycer for updates throughout the day and random thoughts from me. And lastly, you can find me on Twitch right over there at GWBycer for daily streams most nights around 10 Eastern. Thanks again for watching the video, and be sure to check out more great content coming to the Game Wisdom channel real soon.